For years, if you whispered CCNA in a crowded room of IT recruiters, heads would turn. It was the golden ticket. But looking at the landscape in 2025, cloud dominance, AI automation, DevOps, I have to ask, is that ticket still valid? Or is it just a relic from the hardware era?
That is the million-dollar question, or strictly speaking, the $80,000 question. Look, let's be real immediately. The days of waving a CCNA and instantly landing a six-figure job are over. It is not a golden ticket anymore. But, and this is a huge but, it remains the single most strategic passport you can have in your pocket.
A passport. I like that. So it gets you across the border, but it doesn't guarantee you the penthouse suite?
Exactly. Think about it. We are seeing average starting salaries for CCNA holders in the US sitting between $80,000 and $87,000. For an exam that costs $300 and takes maybe 3 to 6 months of study, the return on investment is still mathematically absurd. There are very few other credentials that offer that kind of immediate leverage.
That's fair. The ROI is undeniable. But you mentioned the landscape is changing. If I'm a new grad, or maybe I'm pivoting from a help desk role, isn't everything moving to the cloud? Why spend 150 hours learning about cables and routers when I could just get an AWS cert?
That's the classic trap. Here is the reality. The cloud is just someone else's computer, and that computer is still connected by networks. The CCNA in 2025 isn't just about plugging in cables. It covers the logic of how data moves, IP addressing, subnetting, OSPF, security fundamentals. If you skip this and go straight to Azure or AWS, you become what we call a paper cloud architect.
So it's about the mindset as much as the syntax. But let's dig into the exam itself. I've heard it's evolved. It's not just command lines anymore, right?
It's definitely broader. Cisco has modernized it. You're still doing the heavy lifting with IP4 and IPv6, sure. But now you're dealing with automation, APIs, and controller-based networking. They're trying to bridge that gap between traditional hardware and modern software-defined networks. However, and I have to be honest here, it has blind spots.
Blind spots like what?
Well, if you want to be a pure cloud-native developer or a DevOps engineer, the CCNA might actually be a waste of your time. It's weak on cloud-specific architecture. It doesn't really touch hybrid cloud environments or modern Wi-Fi depth. It is unapologetically Cisco-centric.
Which makes sense. It's in the name. But let's talk about the people who fail. Because the stats show a lot of people crash and burn on this exam. Is it just that the material is hard, or are they studying wrong?
It is almost always the how. The biggest mistake candidates make is treating it like a history test, memorizing facts. You cannot memorize your way through a CCNA. You have to do it.
You mean labs?
Essential. If you aren't spending 50% of your time in Packet Tracer, or better yet, GNS3 or EVE-NG, you are going to fail. The exam simulations put you in a scenario. Configure this trunk port, set the native VLAN, and if you have to stop and think about the syntax for 5 minutes, you've already lost. Speed matters.
So it's muscle memory.
It's fluency. You mentioned subnetting earlier. That's the silent killer. People understand the concept of subnetting, but they can't do the math in 30 seconds under pressure. If you're burning 4 minutes on a subnetting question, you won't finish the exam.
That's a great insight. It sounds like the CCNA is really a filter for, can you actually do the job, versus, did you read the book?
100%. And that's why it opens so many doors. It's not just for network engineers. It's for SOC analysts, system admins, even security pros. Actually, especially security pros. You can't secure a network if you don't understand how a packet traverses it.
Right? You can't build a zero-trust architecture if you don't understand access control lists or segmentation.
Exactly. That's why I tell people, get the CCNA to build the foundation. Then stack it. Pair a CCNA with a security cert like Security Plus or a cloud cert like the AZ500. That combination, That is where you start hitting those $120,000, $130,000 salary bands.
The combo move. I like that. It seems like the CCNA is the bedrock and everything else is the skyscraper you build on top of it.
That's the perfect analogy. And remember, this certification expires every 3 years. That keeps the pool fresh. It forces you to either level up to the CCNP or keep your skills sharp.
So, final verdict for our listeners, it's 2025. Is the CCNA worth the 150 hours of pain?
If you want a career in infrastructure, security operations, or corporate networking, absolutely, it's the standard. But if you just want to write code for a serverless app, skip it. For everyone else, it's the hardest, most rewarding baseline you can establish.
There you have it. It's not a golden ticket, but it's the strongest foundation you can pour for a long career in IT. Thanks for breaking it down with us.
Anytime, keep labbing.